So let's talk about this other one, because the other topic we were talking about before we got into this was one I think is a very important one that the coronavirus has brought to light. And so I'll let you kick this off, but I think the implications of what we've learned from that on what it means to be a distributed workforce and our remote capabilities and infrastructure is massive.
Yeah, I mean, really, if you look, this isn't the first time that we've had a sort of concern about an epidemic of a kind, and we've had much worse epidemics, and right now the coronavirus is nowhere near as potent as H1N1, which is the common flu.
Yep.
But the common flu is killing 10 times more people, and it's the kind of thing that we don't think much about. Because it's not something that came from nowhere. We've been dealing with this for some time, and we're so far away, generations away from the Spanish flu, and where we lost about was it like 10% of the entire global population in 1919, just wiped out from a flu. But that's the kind of thing that's actually out there. The epidemics are there, and this is going to be a feature of our connected ecosystem. What I find to be really kind of interesting about this is if you told a company, any company right now, that you would have to shut down office A, B, and C, and all those people would have to work remotely, I wonder how quickly the VPNs would crash. I wonder how quickly it would take you 3 times as long to do collaboration because the tools aren't actually set up properly. Yep. Where you're going to have people are trying to make phone calls, they're not able to get in touch with each other because the phone directory is out of date. Think this isn't up to date. There's so many kinds of things that are just sort of like basic kind of hygiene that we haven't even required because it's just been like, well, we don't operate like that. We don't have to worry about that. And I think that this is the kind of incident that reminds us that hey, if you actually needed to, I'll give even a more interesting example. The coronavirus, happened over Chinese New Year, and there were supposed to be 2 movies that were spent millions of dollars producing these movies. They were supposed to be released at the very time that the coronavirus hit. So now all of a sudden you have all of this money that's going to disappear because no one's going to go to the theater, no one's going to be watching this. So what do you do? And what was really interesting about these 2 movies is that they were able to renegotiate their terms, their distribution terms with all the theaters, and they were able to go straight to streaming and somehow actually transmit money to different groups and find a way to operate differently. Now, that kind of agile response to a distribution of a product, it's an exception, and you don't see it very frequently. And it's something that when you look at, you say, wow, I wish we could do that. Could you imagine if we had to do this? And I think that what it really highlights is that, we're not ready to actually be able to switch on remote work and do it immediately. And there's a lot of things that we're missing.